Hey everyone and welcome back. It is another patch rundown. Joined with me again is Nemesis, and this is going to be the final Worlds patch. So the Riot split up the two Worlds patches into two. You might have seen the title of the last video. It said that it was the Worlds patch, but this one is the final one of it, I guess, where they're just tying up loose ends. We're going to break it down. Now, I do want to mention if the video looks a little bit scuffed for some reason, for today's specific patch rundown, we are only reading text. We do not actually have the mock website that I normally use for all the patch rundowns, and it makes it all look very clean and nice, so I have no idea what Tove's going to do with the video, but me and Nemesis are only reading off of a notepad right now. So, we're going to read the changes. First up, Aatrox, W cooldown decreased. Aatrox's W cooldown was heavily nerfed in patch 9.9 in an effort to reduce his pro domination. He's not running over the pro scene anymore, so we're loosening his chains a little bit. So Infernal Chains are going to go from 26 to 14 to 20 to 14. I think this does literally nothing. Because W is the ability, well, W is the ability that he maxes last. So he is just getting 6 seconds shaved off it early on. But Aatrox's items have all been tagged since 9.9. They have all just been hit over and over and over. So it doesn't matter if they're undoing a nerf to him. He got so many indirect nerfs that it doesn't matter.
I agree. I think this doesn't do anything. This is just a nice solo buff where maybe sometimes you're gonna catch someone off guard because your W is gonna come up faster. Yeah. But I don't expect to see Aatrox played. I think he's very weak.
Okay, Akali. Base health region increased. In a rare flip of events, Akali has more room for some power at all levels of play. We're taking this opportunity to make her missteps a bit more forgiving in a way that doesn't win her more fights, but instead helps her subtly throughout her game. Well, that's just not true. Because obviously this does win her more fights, because what she tries to do inside of laning phase is she tries to get the position to be that of a joust, because Akali's joust is really, really, really fast. So when she can have both parties being low HP, Akali generally likes that. And so the fact that her health region and her health growth enables her to trade more frequently and play for that joust threshold means that, yes, you're actually making her win more fights.
Yeah, so unless she's playing into a super hard matchup, she's usually going Doran, Shield, and second wind anyway, so she has enough sustain anyway. This buff is only for like first few levels. After that, it is irrelevant, and also like a more of a low elo buff, because this is just gonna up her win rate in low elo, and that's about it. I don't expect, like, Akali shouldn't be played in pro play just because this buff.
Yeah. Okay, we move on. Ooh, Cho'Gath. Wait, this is really surprising. So his Q is getting a flat cooldown reduction. This is so big because his Q is static. So for you guys that don't know, Cho'Gath has many different build variations, and he has many different max skill orders depending on where you're playing him. If you're playing him in the jungle, you actually max W first for the increased silence duration. If you're playing him inside of laning phase, you max Q first in mid lane typically, so that you have the wave clear, because his rupture will one-shot the wave, or it'll set it up for QW or QE in order to one-shot the wave. And so you max Q first for the base damage as well as the wave clear. In some matchups in top lane, or sometimes in mid lane, you will max actually, you will put points in E. So this is massive though, because just getting one flat whole second shaved off his Q is massive for every version of Cho'Gath.
Yep, it buffs pretty much every version, even though I think AP is the strongest.
Yep.
But also, this is more of a early to mid game buff. I mean, in late game, this 1 second is just not going to be that impactful, because he doesn't get like multiple Qs off, I think, and stuff. So,
yep. Okay.
I don't expect him to be played, though.
Yeah. Fizz, passive damage reduction against basic attacks removed, W damage reduced, E cooldown decreased late, R damage increased. Okay, so what is going on? The 11 and 18 changes were an unintentional nerf to Fizz, okay? We overestimated the passive and W buffs and underestimated the R nerf, rather than trying to fine-tune those. So this is really weird. So the reason that I would actually hypothesize that it went the way that it did is because most people who play Fizz suck. And I want to add on to that. In order to utilize the passive and W buffs, you have to be really good at damage foresight and knowing when to trade and all in on Fizz. But for players that just rely on Fizz's R, which is the majority of Fizz players, right? Not like the super elite ones. Yeah, I guess it would just be a nerf all around. But that's really surprising. So back to the basics. Bonus damage reduction against champion basic attacks removed. Okay. W, Seastone Trident on hit damage is going to go back down. Playful Trickster is going to be reduced, the cooldown. That's actually really big because that's EHP as well as damage and mobility. And then our Chum the Waters is going all the way back up. I think that's good. This is good.
Kind of confused. Is his passive even does anything now, or is it just like not having creep block? Because I don't understand. But I wonder if the R damage is now bigger than it was before, because I don't remember the previous values, but this should be buffs. I mean, the E buff is massive, right?
Yeah.
Because Fizz right now, I think they buy like Ludens, or sorry, Lianji, or probably. I think they do Lianji on him, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Majority of Fizz players. That's a lot of ability haste. So this 8 seconds, and then with ability haste, I mean, this champion is gonna perma E, and then he also buys Zonya, so that's a lot of time where he can just be unhittable.
Yeah, a lot of CDR, and so a lot of trickster stuff going on. So that, I mean, that's really big for Fizz. Maybe Fizz could get played.
No.
You don't think so? You don't think Fizz will randomly be pulled out? No. Okay.
No, I don't think so.
He was randomly pulled out in LCK once, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, Galio. W cooldown now decreases with rank. Galio's nerf back in 11.10 turned out to be a big hit, effective on his elite performance, bringing him back to life at that skill level by partially reverting those changes. W Shield of Duran, 18 seconds to 18 to 16 seconds. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, this buff doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
When you reach the point where it's 16 seconds, it's not big enough of a change, and at that point, Galio is weak already anyway. Champion has way too many issues. But I do have to know that this is second Galio buff, because I think Predator being buffed last patch is a Galio buff.
Right, but I mean, the only people that I think are gonna pick Galio, right? Isn't it only gonna be supports? So like this still it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, no, we saw Galio mid in LPL, so
yeah, Korean and LPL supports might play Galio. I could maybe see that, but that's pretty much it. Okay, Gragas. W damage AP scaling increased. Gragas didn't benefit much from the Predator changes last patch, so he's still pretty weak. Now we're helping various AP builds pack more of a punch and speed up his mid-game clear. However, please remember to always drink responsibly. W, Drunken Rage. Bonus magic damage. 20 to 140, plus 7% of target's health, 60% AP, to 20 to 140, plus 7% of target's health, plus 70% AP. Okay. 10 ability power doesn't do anything on a jungler who doesn't get ability power anyway. It's 40 minutes and he has 180 AP.
And it's the same for top lane. They buy Everfrost and Cosmic Drive. It's just not big enough.
Oh, it's such a joke.
Yeah, it is a joke.
It's a joke. It's such a joke. This does nothing, and it doesn't influence Worlds. So we are, I think, halfway through the Worlds patch right now, and we have seen 0 competitive changes. 0!
Yep, and you're about to see Gwen, who is also 0 comparative change.
Okay, another reason I've disappeared for the last 2 months. All right, Gwen, base health regen increased. Gwen's E nerf in 11.15 was effective in snipping her overwhelming early lane power, especially in pro play. Now, similar to Akali situation, there's room to weave in some more durability for Gwen players at all levels. Health regen, 7 to 8.5.
Doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do... This is...
This is such a joke.
I'm really glad that I disappeared at the time that I did, because Riot's summer into world patches have been the same since season 8. They are insufferably bad and completely missed the point. This is like getting the worst Christmas gifts on Christmas that you're forced to open, and then people want to make you somehow believe that it's good, but it's not. You're never using it. These are just the worst Christmas gifts. Okay, Kennen.
This is a joke.
This is such a joke. And now, you remember earlier on in the year, I told you that I really like new champions, because at least new champions create game diversity. Because it is evident that every single time summer, Worlds, and preseason comes around, we can't trust Riot to do anything good.
Yep.
Although, I would say that... Yeah, I mean, look at the items. I mean, the items were... They were a good idea. There was a lot of good intention there. There was a lot of very good intention, but they did not follow through on everything that they said, because they said they were going to add more and more items, right? They said they were going to add more items, and that they were going to do more stuff with the item haul.
Build diversity.
We got nothing. We lost build diversity. We lost build path. And then builds became more cookie cutter. They became more simple. And then in addition to that, items suck. They're so bad. And what do we get? We get novelty items that are extremely rare. Although I will give them credit. Anathema's Chains was good. That was a good item. That was a good item that they released. All right, let's move on.
And who
Kennen,
builds it? No one.
you got this. Go ahead.
Oh, Kennen. It loses 10 damage on Q and 5% ability power
They undid it.
scaling. No, I think it's still a buff compared to the
really?
old one. I think
Okay.
it's still a buff, but yeah, they're undoing the change. To be honest with you, I found it absurd. So I think the reasoning for buffing Kennen Q was because the ability is not like hittable or anything. But if you play against a good player, because I played against Kennen mids also lately, this ability is so easy to hit. It's so easy to hit. And then they max the ability so it has 2-second cooldown. I mean, I really do like that they're nerfing Kennen. I find him very obnoxious.
Okay.
Like the Q max.
All right. Well, Kennen was probably a champion that we were gonna see at Worlds. So
I mean, we might
feel
still,
like-
we might still. I don't
we
feel
might,
this.
yeah, we'll probably still see him.
yeah.
So I mean, this is good. All right, Mordekaiser.
Here we go. Here we go again.
Oh god, here we go. Here we go. Show me how bad it is. E cooldown decreased early. Mordekaiser's bummed that he's been falling behind his peers for a lot of reasons. We don't want the god of metal to be the butt of jokes, so we're buffing him for skilled players by granting more access to his most flexible spell. Okay, so E is the ability that he maxes second, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
he maxes it second. So he gets 4 seconds shaved off in laning phase.
No,
So-
it's not bad. Like he's gotten a
It's
lot
not
of lane
terrible,
buffs.
but it's not
His
what's
Q
making
got
Mordekaiser
buffed.
not get picked.
Yeah, his Q got buffed, his W got buffed, now his E is getting buffed. Yes, the champion's getting a lot of lane buffs, and then he has like also like Dorn Shield and whatever. And yes, he can be strong in lane, but once like mid game reaches, the champion just offers you nothing compared to any other champion. It just doesn't matter. They can buff his
So-
anything in early game, and
Right,
you can
right.
play around that.
Here's Mordekaiser's problem. Every champion has a defining ability that generally makes them really good. Some champions have two. Camille, it's her hook shot, right? It's her ability to retreat. It's her ability to engage. Like, that's her creme de la creme. Fizz's is E, right? Graves has Q and Graves has E. Sometimes you could even argue Graves has W. That's, like, really good on him, right? Depending on, like, how potent he is. So, the problem with Mordekaiser is Q is not his defining ability. W is not his defining ability. And E is not his defining ability. His defining ability is R, and they're not buffing it or changing it or tweaking it. And so
And the problem with his R is that I think it's very hard to buff because what happened the last time was Mordekaiser bought a Ninja Tabe and a Seeker's Arm Guard. He would R you and beat a 10-0 AD carry. So, you know. Yeah.
I honestly, I don't know. I think that they need to rework his R. They need to rework his R into something because as it stands right now, he is towing the line of like an overpowered Darius. Where if they keep doing this to his basic abilities that are not core defining, eventually, yeah, he might just hit a threshold where he's just too overbearing.
Yep.
But that's
he
not because
would
he's actually good.
Yeah.
So,
It's just because his numbers are gonna be way too big.
Right, he's gonna be carried by numbers, and so unfortunately, I think that they need to just tweak his R. But I don't think this will make him get picked.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Okay. Poppy, passive cooldown decreased. Poppy hasn't been looking too heroic lately, especially in top lane. We're enhancing her early lane power so she can take greater advantage of favorable matchups, which should also make her more appealing as a pro pick in specific situations. Iron Ambassador, 16 to 8 at levels 1, 7, 13, to 13 to 7 at levels 1, 7, 13. So she gets 3 seconds off her passive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think Poppy can be picked, but no one's going to put in the time, especially not in Iceland. How are you going to play Poppy in EU solo queue? Why would you play her, right? To like try to get her readier. I just don't think she's going to be picked at all.
I mean, I like that they're buffing her because it's like she's forgotten, and they're also buffing her in a nice way because her passive does seem very lackluster.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's not gonna be picked. This is a nice solo queue buff.
Yeah. Good for the Poppy mains. Okay. Qiyana. E plus Q combo targeting on dashing targets adjusted. Bonus damage against monsters increased. Okay. EQ aim combo used to be undodgeable. We changed our EQ targeting mechanism last patch so that enemies could escape by dashing or flashing away. However, that version of the combo generously treated the enemy dash as an attempt to dodge Qiyana's combo, and it turns out that it isn't always the case. Dashing enemy target might be headed towards the same direction or even the exact same location as Qiyana's E. So in scenarios where the dashing enemy ends up still within Qiyana's default attack range, she'll maintain her auto aim. Lastly, Qiyana jungle is not quite playable yet, so we're bumping that up to give her a fair shot. Edge of Ixatal. Okay, bonus damage versus monsters. Now it's not 25, it's 50% on her Q.
Yeah.
They're really trying to make her go into the jungle. Now, one of the things I do like about Qiyana is that she's a Dirk user. And Dirk users have the most broken recalls in the game.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's a Dirk user and a Last Whisper user, because she can even get Cyrildas, right? She could do something like main Dirk item, and then after main Dirk item, just go Cyrildas. That way she gets high CDR, and she still gets armor pen. Maybe that's her way to be viable in the jungle because it's very cheap and it curves well because all her recalls are just long swords. But
well, the thing about Qiyana is, I think it's not gonna take long for people to realize the last changes were actually a buff, not a nerf. It just the problem is if she loses win rate, it's because the Qiyana players that play Qiyana are usually bad at Qiyana, which is kind of popular. But like the actual good Qiyana players, I think it's just a buff. The champ is so obnoxious. I mean, I really do hate her. I don't know, like she doesn't even feel like a jungler to me. I don't know why they keep pushing her into that role. It's just weird, but it wouldn't surprise me if she's being played in jungle at Worlds because I don't know how big the buff is, but if this like speeds up her wave care a lot, then yeah, she could be played.
All right, well, Renekton, here we go. What everyone's all excited about. Base health and health growth increased. W self lockout duration decreased, and empowered animation sped up. Cooldown decreased. R bonus health increased. We overswung on Renekton's nerf last patch. We still believe reducing this on his empowered W was a step in the right direction to mitigate his pro dominance. So we're improving its look and feel. We're also giving him more chances to start fighting and increasing his tankiness. Okay, so base health is just up by a flat 15. Not quite in auto attack, but whatever. And then health growth is up by 5. Okay, so he's actually getting quite a bit of HP for free. And then empowered animation sped up by 13%. Self-out lockout duration is also down for normal and empowered. So yeah, I mean, I guess this is a fine way to, you know, I mean, he's gonna be picked, unfortunately, you know, it's just the reality of it.
He's just Riot's favorite baby. I mean, it doesn't take them even one patch to buff him back again. It's just crazy. It's Riot's favorite child. But I still think he shouldn't be picked.
This is insane to me, by the way. Now, I have not, as you know, I have not really been active on Twitter. I have not been active on the League subreddit. I've barely looked at it at all in the last 6 weeks, whatever. But I did see a thread that did call out Riot for the, I guess, hypocrisy, I think, between Ryze and LeBlanc. Where
yes.
Ryze is actually getting nerfed. Now, I don't have the numbers exactly in front of me. Faker is a large contributing reason, I do believe, to Ryze's win rate. At least in LCK, right? So this is pretty weird. This is... honestly, I have no idea. I mean, you can make more sense of this than I can because this is just a joke.
I mean, this is just a pro-focused nerf because he's gotten like first picked in the last time we saw pro play in like I think pretty much every region or something. So they're just nerfing slightly the Q and then they're nerfing the E, which is like I think a bigger nerf than the Q. But yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't even feel like Ryze is like so overbearing that he needs nerfs. Like I think he's fine. He does what he does well, and he's bad at what he has weaknesses and strengths. Like that's how the champion should be. But like other mid laners, like if they would just buff other mid laners, then also Ryze would not be such a problem because then there would be more options to play against him. But he's just like
counters too, or people can think of counters.
Yeah, he's just this noob version of a mid laner that just presses point and click snare, has really high push, and then he like roams and blah blah blah, Herald and Dragon in pro play. You know how it is. So.
All right. Well, Sejuani, Q cooldown decreased and damage increased. Okay. Arctic Assault, 20 to 12 on our Q to 18 to 12. So she gets access to rank 2 now at rank 1. Damage is up by a flat 10, and that's it. This is not why Sej is not being picked. Absolutely.
I am still gonna flame every pro player who picks Sejuani.
Yep.
Like, if you wanna play Sejuani, just play Zac. The champion is so much better.
Yep. Wholeheartedly agree. Okay, Seraphine. Our cooldown decreased. Seraphine's been weak across the board, so we're giving her some more chances to make sick. Strike beats plays instead of just sitting backstage to scale. Okay, Encore. 180 to 120 to 160 to 100. Doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, it's not big enough, I agree, but
big,
it
yeah.
is still a nice way to buff her because I do not think the champion should have 3 minutes on her ultimate at rank 1. I think that's just absurd.
That is
like,
kind of big.
Like, how many champions in League of Legends have such low cooldown ults nowadays? And then Seraphine or like champion like Kayle, for example,
Shen.
they have such high cooldown.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, Shen too.
I can understand ultimates like Kayle and Shen's, which are like very game breaking.
Super powerful.
Right. Yeah, they're very powerful. Encore, it is really powerful, but it's usually really powerful in mid and late game.
But it can also be dodged kind of easily, in my opinion.
It can.
Like, there's so much mobility in the game nowadays.
All right, Sion. W shield increase. Sion isn't doing so hot right now. We're carefully buffing his shield to help him lane more stably. Soul Furnace. 50 to 150 plus 40% AP. That doesn't matter. Plus 8 to 12% to 60 to 160, so a flat 10. And everything else is the same. So he just gets a flat 10. This is.
I mean, it's an early game buff, but it doesn't do much. But I guess the boss will be happy.
Oh, okay. Maybe not. He can't die as much, maybe. Alright,
True.
Sona. Base armor reduced, passive damage, bug fix. Q can no longer target hidden enemies. Power chord, E bug fix. Okay, Sona's songs have been a bit too powerful. Yes, she is. Alright, base armor. 28 to 26. She's a little bit weaker there. Power chord damage increased by 20 to 245 based on level to 20 to 240. This is not big enough.
5 damage. Are we joking?
This is no longer targets enemies Sona cannot see. Song of Celerity, power chord, tempo slow, no longer bypasses the target's slow This is it?
If you're picking Sona, you're picking her anyway. These changes don't matter.
These changes do nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, Sona is very good. I do think that we could see Sona at Worlds.
I do think so too.
Sona's very, very good. Okay, Soraka. Our healing decreased. Soraka got a bit too powerful with her new ability to cleanse Grievous Wounds before applying her buffed ult's heal. We still think this strategy works to help with her against heal reduction, so we're just tapping down the numbers. So the numbers are going to go down by 20 at rank 1, and, wow, 45 at rank 2, and then 50. Those are such... Oh, no, 35. Oh, okay. 35 and then 50. Okay. This is fine. I think this is fine. I mean, it's still a massive buff that she originally received, so this is fine.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, Soraka should be played regardless of this nerf, if you were intending to play her.
Yep. Okay, Sylas. Base mana and mana regen increased. So he gets 30 mana, and then he gets 1 base mana regen. Thoughts?
I mean, Sylas can struggle with mana with W max, to be fair. With Q max, he doesn't really, but with W max, he can struggle because his W does cost a lot. But let's be honest, I mean, after 5 levels of laning or whatever, this is just irrelevant. Sylas is still very bad, and that's it.
Okay. Varus, Q cooldown increased. All right, so piercing arrow 16 to 10 to 16 to 12. That's actually pretty big. That is very big for lethality Varus.
I would be surprised if we see lethality Varus. The champion's been getting hit every single patch.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
Constantly getting tagged.
I don't feel like he's on the same tier as he used to be anymore.
No.
So.
I agree. Okay. And then that is actually it for... Oh, wait. What is this? Oh, no. This is Earth?
Yeah.
And AFK penalties.
No one AFKs. People grief.
People grief.
It's
right.
not. It's not anymore. I think. Yeah. It's no one AFKs. It's a joke.
Whoa. 2-week Q lockout.
Yeah, but who's gonna AFK till tier 7, man? No one.
Well, DDoS is coming back as a method, I guess. I don't...
I guess so, yeah, I guess. Nah, it won't work. Everyone has like 5 accounts. It won't work.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, my God. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Dawnbreaker,
I mean, at least we have some nice
skins. Good. I wish I could see them. I am really excited for Vex this patch. I mean, you can comment on her a little bit.
I mean, from what I tried her, I feel like some of the abilities kind of fit weirdly together. Doesn't feel like they all like fit together to me. Okay. But also, like, I don't know, she seems to me more of a comparative champ than solo queue. I wouldn't be surprised if like no one plays her in solo queue after like a week or something.
Okay. All right, so basically, I just want to wrap this one up because this is the official final Worlds patch. I feel like this patch did nothing to actually address anything in competitive. I mean, this patch could have just not existed, and it wouldn't have changed anything.
I agree. This patch might as well not go live. This is a solo queue patch.
Yeah, it's not. This is a joke. I mean, well, this is the stuff I get depressed about. These are the types of patches that Riot makes me. Riot reinforces my depression pretty well with the. Every time summer comes around, I start dreading it. Every summer, Riot just. I'm not really sure what it is. You know, not really sure what it is. It's like they were really good on the diet and then just let themselves go. McDonald's 4 times a day.
Well, there's no Tryndamere nerf, so I guess we'll see him at least.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is pretty much it. But honestly, I'm just looking forward to preseason now because these patches, these sucked. These were terrible patches. Maybe Vex is good, but also, please, where's the next champion? Like, I have become dependent on new champions because it's the only way we get anything new or anything meta shifting or anything. I mean, that's just the pattern that it's been like now for a while.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Bye.
Bye-bye.